Dear Mr. Ameriks, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would like to welcome all of you at this event today in the part of European democracy and the rule of law in the European Parliament at the opening of this exhibition. And I would like to again express my gratitude to Mr. Ameriks, a member of the European Parliament, Deputy President of the Committee on Transportation and Tourism of the European Parliament, for hosting this photo exhibition called Karabakh After the War, which reflects Azerbaijan's efforts towards reconciliation, peace and prosperity in the South Caucasus. Well, just 15 years ago, this expression, peace, reconciliation, prosperity in the South Caucasus, might sound a little bit futuristic, but thanks God we already reached that point, and if everything goes smoothly, we will go forward. This exhibition is the result of endeavors of French award-winning photographer, Mr. Gregory Herpe, who is here, whose projects produced during many years of his professional activity have been exhibited in many countries. At least I know about France and a number of others. Mr. Herpe, who visited Azerbaijan several times in the previous years, has captured the diversity of our nation, distinctiveness of its culture, and beauty of its nature by his camera. Azerbaijan is proud to be a country with a rich cultural and historical heritage based on the multi-ethnic and multi-confessional foundation of this nation. Azerbaijan is populated today by more than 20 national minorities and representing three major religious confessions, that is Islam, Christianity, and speaking about Christianity, I mean also Orthodox Christianity, Catholic Christianity, Protestant Christianity, and Judaism. However, Mr. Herpe also witnessed the scale of the devastation inflicted after almost 30 years of occupation of almost 1/5 of the territory of my country, my neighboring Armenia, and the reconstruction works that are right now carried out by Azerbaijan after the war of 2020, so with an aim to rebuild the liberated territories. Today we are living through the period of very subtle, important negotiation process, which is aimed at the normalization of relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and I hope very much that we will keep our fingers crossed. Maybe next year we will hold another exhibition already to the results of this process. But today we are speaking about the roots and what have been seen by us when we entered the liberated territories back in 2020. And again, I would like to thank Mr. Gregory Herpe for his professionalism in capturing this by his camera. In the long period of 2020, Armenia was keeping under occupation about 20% of our internationally recognized territories and established the illegal separatist regime in the occupied territories. In 1988, 1990, almost 3,000 Azerbaijanis were ethnically cleansed from the territory of Armenia itself, and they established at that time about 10% of the population of that country. And then later, at a later stage, more than 700,000 Azerbaijanis living in Azerbaijan itself were also ethnically cleansed from the occupied territories. Until today, we have still about 4,000 persons missing, and we are continuing our endeavors to find them or to find their remnants. In 1993, the United Nations has adopted 4 Security Council resolutions reaffirming sovereignty and territorial integrity of Azerbaijan and inviolability of its internationally recognized borders, and condemning the occupation and demanding the immediate and unconditional withdrawal of the armed forces of Armenia from the occupied territories of Azerbaijan. And all of these political messages and political objectives have been completed by the 10th of November 2020, when Armenia signed actually the act of capitulation, and this document was signed by the Presidents of Azerbaijan, Prime Minister of Armenia, and President of Russian Federation as the mediator. One of the most terrible crimes which took place during this almost 30 years of occupation took place on the 26th of February 1992 in a small town of Azerbaijan called Khojaly, when during one night, overnight, 613 people were massacred by the occupying Armenian forces, among them 63 children, 106 women, and 70 elderly. And the city or the town itself was completely wiped off the face of the earth. Regretfully, that massacre went unnoticed at that time in Europe and globally around the world. And I would like to stress that the similar human tragedies which took place in Rwanda, then in Bosnia, in Srebrenica, and most recently in Bucha in Ukraine, took place much later. And nobody knows what would have happened or would not have happened if and once the tragedy of Khojaly had been recognized in 1992. So that is why these pictures which you see over there, as I said, this is a result of the professionalism of Mr. Gregory Herpe, and most importantly his humanistic approach to these scenes that he saw during his two visits. Well, in principle, Mr. Herpe could have gone to a much more pleasant areas to make the photos, but being driven by the spirit of the, let's say, global citizenship, he went exactly to these areas, which, as Mr. Ameriks already mentioned, were and still continue to be heavily mined, and of course they are not the most pleasant places in the world to travel. But exactly for this, because of this, I would like to express my deep gratitude to you, Mr. Herpe, not as the ambassador of Azerbaijan, but as the citizen of Azerbaijan, having his family and his children in that country. So once again, I would like to thank everybody, all our dear guests who are sharing these minutes today with us in this hall in the European Parliament. I would like to thank Mr. Ameriks and his team for all the efforts, and would like to invite you to have a look at the pictures which demonstrate some glimpses of the most recent history of Azerbaijan. Not the best part of our life, but we do not throw away pages from our history books. So thank you once again.